Alright everyone, welcome back to another cast brought to you by Goska. As some of you are aware, we did have the new patch 1.3 come out, and it did change some replay settings here. As you can see in the top right corner here, we can now see both players' information, their current resources and supply. Also, there's a couple of new controls. If you do Control plus N, you can actually bring up this nameplate to see where they are in supply right away, as well as it has their names up. As you can see, we have Mork here spawning as the blue Zerg in the 12 o'clock position. And in the 3 o'clock position, we have Opec spawning as the green Protoss. These players are doing a custom game. Mork wanted to try out with the new Infestors, where they got a 30% buff damage to armored units, and their stun duration was reduced from 8 seconds to 4 seconds. So we'll see how that change affects the game. There are a couple other new panes you can bring up as well. Control I brings up the current minerals for each player. Looks like their income. So you can kind of see who's got the advantage there as this little slider goes back and forth here. As you can see, the blue player's got a little bit better of an advantage, so his is moving a little bit more, bar is a little bit bigger. Control A allows you to see their army supply. As you can see, we have 14 supply in workers for Mork, 13 supply in workers for Opec. And we can see how these kind of change. Control R brings up units killed, tells you units killed and workers killed, and again these bars will slide to whoever's got positional favorites. And then Control M will show you that the APM, as you can see, Mork's APM is skyrocketing over OPEC's. So we'll have to see how this game progresses. So some kind of cool new features in the game, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm going to leave the income up one for a little bit while the game gets started. We do see Mork has his hatchery going up at his natural expansion, getting his really early expansion, as well as we have a forge going up for the Protoss players. Looks like he's going to be doing a forge expand build. Two pretty standard openings for these guys. Yep, there goes that Nexus down right away. We do have a first gas going up here from Mork, as well as his spawning pool. Currently supply 15 for OPEC, 15 for Mork, so they're pretty much even. I'm really liking this new graphical interface, though. It definitely gives you a lot more information at once. You can kind of see a lot that's going on. Although these boxes do kind of get in the way, it'd be nice if we could actually move these down towards the bottom, maybe, where they're a little bit better out of the way. So for now, I'm just going to get that out of there. As you can see, we do have the spawning pool going up for Mork, and this probe looks like he is going to spot that as well. One other thing you can do with this forge expand build is if you think you can pull it off, you can also get some cannons up right in front of this base. Similar to a marine bunker push, you can kind of set up a pylon and a cannon up here to kind of harass this expansion, maybe lock the Zerg player in his main right now. We do have a gateway going up for the Zerg, for the Protoss player, and this drone scout is going to be stuck in the main for quite a while. But it'll give them some good vision on everything. But we do have these players getting their expansions up right now. Queen coming out from Mork, as well as the Zerg boost speed. The expansion is now finished up for the Protoss player, and Mork's got his expansion going right now. As you see, these two players are doing just pretty much standard openings. They are in close proximity by air. Mork getting his overload set up in the back could possibly do some kind of Nidus play to the back. Since the main Protoss army is up here in the front, it'll be a good play for that. Over here in the Protoss base, or the Zerg base, we see Mork just kind of droning up, getting the good economy going right now. If we look at the resources tab, that's the units tab. I just got to learn all these new hotkeys. Pulling up my notes here. Minerals. There we go. As you see, both players are pretty much even on the economy right now. And Mork getting double extractor trick at his expansion to get some more units out. And we do have a cybernetics core going up for the Protoss player, as well as Mork working on his layer tech. It's about 3/8 of the way done right now. So getting another Photon cannon up and getting his second gas. We'll see how many more bases Mork decides to take. I was watching some of the GSTL today, and some of the Zergs that were playing were just like rapidly expanding and all over the map. And it was pretty cool to watch, actually, taking like 4th, 5th, and 6th base like right away. So it was pretty interesting. We do have some probe on drone harass going on right now, so it'll be interesting to see how those two things go. see here, Mork's got another Overlord coming in from the south to kind of just get some really good scout information on his opponent. Other than that, we have the Warp Gate research going up for the Protoss player, as well as early infestation pit going up for Mork at the 7-minute mark. So it looks like he's going to be going for those infestors right away. We do also have a roach one going up from Mork as well. I did see some description of this replay. Mork did say, or they did talk, we're talking about going infestor roach as the army composition, so we'll see how that takes place. Especially because we wanted to know how those new fungals work, and Mork getting a third base over here. It's a pretty early third base, only at the 7.5-minute mark. We do have a Stargate going out for the Protoss player. And several more gateways. Looks like 3 more gateways and the Stargate going up. Warp Gate research is just about finished. Getting the energy upgrade for the infestors, as well as getting burrow and roach movement speed right now. As we see here, Mork's just kind of taking out scouting of the base. Scouting the map. As you see, the Protoss player, he does know about this base that went up, as he does have this proxy pylon here, so he can choose to warp in some units and harass this expansion here. And as far as Mork, he does not know about that proxy pylon, and his Overlord is getting kind of shooed away here.
Forces are under attack.
But he has pretty good sight of the top half of the map, so you can kind of see if anything tries to move out this way. Don't believe he knows about that Stargate. Yeah, as you can see, it's just out of his field of vision. Alright, it looks like we do have some infestors coming out now from Mork. Doing a pretty good job of the Mork style creep spread, getting that creep pushed as close to his opponent's base as possible. We do have another photon cannon going out for the Protoss player. He's got a lot of those cannons up right now. Looks like they're almost all down at his natural expansion though. As you see, he's got just 3 cannons up there, protected from any Zerglings. If Zerglings want to get into his base, they have to run pretty much all the way around through the mineral line. And these cannons are going to do quite a bit of damage. Kind of like mazing his base off. And then we see Mork out here with one of his extra queens just spawning creep tumors like a madman. And we do have a Phoenix out coming out for Opec. And we'll see how those Phoenixes transition into the game. Maybe do some harass, take out some of these Overlords on the map. As you can see, he's got all these Overlords out here. But we do have a drone transfer heading back to the base, as this base over here is getting harassed by photon cannons. So it looks like this base is going to get taken out. Mork getting some roaches out though before it gets taken out, as he has 12 roaches in production. +1 attack coming up for the Protoss player right now. And we do have Mork with 12 roaches coming out, and now getting the Hydralisk den, as well as getting the Overlord movement speed upgrade, and Zerg armor level 1. So we'll see if he transitions to get the plus attack as well. Mork is currently supply blocked right now, so it looks like he had a couple of his Overlords taken out. We'll still slow him down a little bit, so he won't be able to produce units until he gets some of those Overlords out. But Opec did a nice job taking out this hatchery, keep Mork on 2 bases. And Mork's getting more of that creep spread going on right now. Meanwhile, over here, we do have another pylon going up. He still has some of these Overlords out on the map. And we see down here, Opec looks like he's getting ready to expand to another base, sitting up at about 3,000 minerals, which is quite hefty in the mineral count. But he's just kind of planning on what he's going to do next. But sneaking a base down here might actually be pretty beneficial for him. We do have a Twilight Council coming up and +1 missile attacks, as well as the increased range for the Hydralisks, and we do have some more Phoenixes coming out. Switching over to the units tab, we do have 12 Zealots, 1 Stalker, 1 Phoenix, versus 1 Zergling, 12 Roaches, and 3 Infestors. So we see how these armies, two armies transition, and it does look like Mork's getting ready to take out the gold rocks and getting a gold base set up, and he does have creep spread almost all the way over to this natural expansion over here. Mork also taking this base up here in the top, so it looks like he's getting ready to go for his big macro game. Meanwhile, Overlord's movement speed is up, so he's kind of searching for those expansions. We do have a 4th and 3rd and 4th base going up for the Protoss player right now. Switching back over to the production tab, we do have 2 robotics facilities coming up and a Void Ray coming out for the Protoss. And it looks like he's getting ready to just kind of safely take this base, maybe put a couple cannons here to protect this base, and maybe a couple cannons here to protect this base, or at least slow down the Zerg advance. Meanwhile, we do have a lot of roaches up here. 0-0 right now, but they are getting that +1/+1. If we look at upgrades for the Protoss player, he just has the +1 attack, and for air, no upgrades yet. It would be nice if he took out some of these Overlords, though. He kind of take away some of the vision. Maybe with that one Phoenix just kind of poke at them a little bit, but they do have that movement speed, so they should be able to get out of there pretty fast. We do have the ground armor level 2 coming up for the Protoss player, as well as 3 more Infestors, and getting Zealot legs as well, so he'll be able to charge with those Zealots pretty soon, which will hopefully do some pretty good damage against these Roaches. Roaches still are pretty good against Zealots, especially on creep, and as you can see, Mork's creep spread is fantastic. Alright, looks like you got a drone transfer coming down here to the south, getting up some of these cannons. Don't necessarily like the position of these. You can sneak units down here on the right side and kind of harass this base, and then maybe even get up the ramp and harass this base as well. Looking at Mork's base, he does starting to get this base saturated with some drones. Also getting 2 queens going up there. Meanwhile, just a lot of Roaches and Infestors sitting here for Mork's base. If we look at the units tab, we do have 28 Roaches, 6 Infestors versus 10 Stalkers, 2 Void Rays, and 17 Zealots. Currently, resource-wise, they're sitting at 75 probes versus 70 drones, so a very, very macro-style game.